Hi there, and welcome. If you're new here, I'm so happy to have you. And if you're my previous subscriber, welcome my baby dinosaurs. And so for today's video, we're going to be specifically talking about the Republican Party split and the establishment and everything that's going on. And I just want to quickly say that this is being live streamed on February 16, 2021 at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm going to be showing you guys a video that I recorded on October 16th, 2020, and it's me talking about the two-party system and how everything seems to be playing out exactly what happened in that video that I was just talking about. I was talking about the rise of a new masculine type party, what I think it now, if you consider masculine, it's aggressive. Sometimes, not all the time, but because I'm talking about like the Patriot Party and stuff like that. So it's pretty interesting. So I will be showing you guys that video. For any of you guys who have been struggling in terms of notification or being notified when I am posting or uploading, just know I am back officially. And that basically YouTube told me that there's some things that you have to do in terms, for some of you guys, you have notifications on, but not for the actual phone where the phone notifies you. And so I will put that in the link in the description below after the video is over. Definitely check it out. And if you're here watching this on replay, check the description. I have all the questions that I will be covering in this video. But without further ado, I love each and every single one of you. Hi guys. Hi Melda. Hi Daphne. Hi Marie. Hi Brenda. Thank you for all coming. I love you guys. Speaking of COVID-19, my sister and her boyfriend came home. Hi, Katrina. They came home here, and so they might be exposed to COVID, which means that I could potentially have COVID again. So let's just hope I don't get it. Before we do begin, disclaimer: all information I give in this live is simply my intuition, my understanding, and download of information from the higher power. But keep in mind that it's just for entertainment purposes only and for educational purposes only as well. And so let's begin. I'm going to communicate with you guys, talk to you guys via live chat while this thing is playing. So let's begin. All right, so this is season 1, episode 55, the two-party system after Trump, recorded October 16, 2020. So let's take a look and see what I have to say then. Spirit, tell me. Oops. Is it because of Trump that the two-party system no longer is valid? Does the two-party system work after Donald Trump is done with his presidency? We have the hanged man, so this is in the center. This is the question. This is the signifier that represents the question. Ooh, okay, we got crossed by the presidency. Okay. The signifier. We have the hanged man, so this is the question. The Democratic Party plus the Republican Party. And they are the ones that are hanging. This is them. This is the two groups that are very big right now. We have the presidency. They're being challenged by the presidency. This is both the Democrats and the Republicans, as you can see in this reading. In this card specifically. Now, there's an offer being given. I see this more as the popular vote winner. Right? This is the popular vote. Like, people wanted to change the electoral college from electoral college system to a popular vote. This is an opportunity for third-party candidates. But in the past, there was no new beginning. It was almost very unlikely that a third-party candidate would have won. Above the signifiers that the victory, that the incumbent. And so, this is the crown. And that's funny because a lot of people, they keep going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. But this time, there is almost like damage to the two-party system is what I'm really seeing here. And so I do see in the future that the two-party system may be more damaged than it already is. And if you look behind it, these are all these wands really represent here is all the places, all the the election that the popular vote winner lost the presidency. And so now the Electoral College has a bad reputation because of that. So that's really interesting. Now keep in mind, they don't know if, starting from the United States, a presidential election, if they actually won the popular vote. So the Electoral College doesn't always go with the popular vote. But we don't know that because back then they never counted the popular vote. So we have balance, we have temperance, we have victimization. Okay, so we have the King of Swords. We have of challenge being fought, and then we have the final outcome, which is there's a union, there's a balance here. Two people, there is duality. And the final outcome, I do see that if I were to say properly, this would mean that the two-party system stays intact. Because what we have here is that they're temperance, and that it's surrounded by people who have the victimization mind. This is what they're telling you, that they're getting into this mindset where if you don't vote Democrat or you don't vote Republican, you'll be voting the other one in. And so because of that, you put somebody in a position where they feel like a victim of it because of that. And then you have on top of that is the presidency, the incumbent. So do you want to vote for the president? Do you not? A vote for the third party is a vote for the incumbent. So that's how they scare. They use a lot of scare tactics. They really do. And in the environment that's really like going on is that there's always one person ahead of the two. So there are always three people who won, but as you see, this is a third-party candidate. It's far in the back. Then we have either the Democrats or the Republicans going back and forth, back and forth. It's really unfair to see. It really is. Now, in the final outcome, we do have two people, and it's about two agreements. Like almost like, okay, so I become president this year, this party, but then the next 4 years, I'll just take over. You know what I mean? Where like the third party don't get a choice, but there's new opportunity happening along the way. New opportunity. There's a new thing on the horizon, and it's a more of a masculine energy type. Let's see. Yeah. So right now, because of the U.S. current situation, it needs, in order for the U.S. to experience a third-party rise, it cannot be in the situation that it's currently in. Right now, we're in the Great Depression kind of thing, and so because of that, we cannot be in that situation in order to have the two-party system collapse within itself. And yeah, so this is how the two-party system is feeling. Is that they feel fine? They don't care. I mean, look at that. They have two parties here. Look at all this like other potential parties that could have arisen in U.S., but they didn't because of these two cops. That's why. Almost like he's protecting these two cops from these three cops. Because they know that a third-party candidate can indeed betray them. You should have three swords. A third-party candidate can really damage another party. So just keep that in mind. If you want to do some like damage control, third party it is. Alright? Yeah, so they're afraid that their incumbent, when that happens, the third party, that they're afraid that their leader's gonna leave, that they're not gonna be able to change or mess with the votes. They're gonna feel stabbed in the back because they lost the presidency. It was a plan in the making. People are feeling happy. They feel like this is something they've been wishing for. They never thought it was actually going to come true. Because of their one vote, it really made the difference. They elected a new leader, but it didn't happen yet. There are now many opportunities. So we might see in the future, we might see a rank choice voting. So if you don't know what that is, it's basically where like, okay, who you want to pick first. So let's say that candidate doesn't win. Okay, who's the next one? And then next one and next one. It kind of goes in that order. We do have here, there's a lever, there's duality here. But it's about to go down. It's going down. So the two-party system is going to go down eventually. And a third-party candidate will get in. This is a lot of yellow here. And now I see that as a third party. Yeah, and then there's another one, another yellow. This is how the two-party system will be feeling, because people will be happy. Those people who supported the third party never thought it was ever going to come to fruition. So it is. Because we do have here another queen. So the Democratic Party, because there's a lot of blue here, it will be revealed in the past that some third-party candidates were stealing some votes from other candidates. We already knew that. But, yeah, so there was some strife. It probably happened in 8 election, was probably the same point. They probably did this in the, when the popular vote winner lost the presidency. This is probably when it occurred. they're going to try to move this out of troubled water, and that's the biggest struggle right now. A lot of third-party candidates' biggest struggle is almost like appearing like they steal votes from another candidate. And this is the King of Cups reverse, so the Democratic Party would be damaged by this, and so will the Republicans. So that's interesting. And a new leader will come in, and they will reign. It's divine. And yeah, so when this person does come in, it will happen. We'll have the new high priestess. So this person is very spiritual or very faith believing. I do see that. Like they might have a certain particular faith. Alright, so basically, I hope you guys like that portion of the recorded video. Remember, it was recorded October 16, 2020. Me talking about the two-party system and the eventual collapse of it. Now, I know that I don't have these questions in the description. I had another health crisis. I don't know what's going on. I'm bleeding in an area that I shouldn't be. So, when MD is telling me I might have something with, like, my liver that's going on to the back of my body. But anyway, we're going to jump into the main parts of this video. So, with the impeachment trial finished and the former president who was acquitted from 57 to convict and 33 to acquit, what has it done to the GOP's future? So let's take a look at that as well. And so thank you all so much for coming. I really appreciate you guys. I love you guys. So Spears and Angels, tell me about them. With all the Republican senators voting to acquit, most of the GOP senators voting to acquit the president, what has this done to the future of the Republican Party? What do we need to know? I apologize for the dog barking in the background. I really don't have control over that. We have here, they're going to go in a change, but not a good change. It's like the end of the birthday, the end of the Lincoln Party as we know it. The Republican Party will no longer amplify those same beliefs that it began with when it came to Abraham Lincoln. We do have here as well, and I think this is correct. Yeah, this is bad man. There's a good man. So he's talking about Abraham Lincoln, which is not really like somebody we should be idolizing in any form or degree, but he did a lot better than probably most presidents. And we have here mankind or the group of the GOP are not very kind people anymore. They're not good men. However, we have here in the future, we have a loss. They're going to lose when it comes to the future of the GOP. You can notice that it's red, right? And it's telling me that they're going to be halted in some degree. Whatever that is, they're going to be halted. And the thing that prevented the ideologies of Abraham Lincoln with GOP party is a cross by and challenged by money. So the money, the corruption with money in the GOP is the thing that has pushed it so far into the radical section that is no longer within the realm of what used to be. We also have here above the change is the midterm election, right? We have Congress, the Capitol, government, the Democrats, Republicans, and Independents. And the fact that it's a challenge tells me that this is going to be a big challenge for them coming into 2022 to try to take back the House. And underneath this mankind card, we have here what's my Beauty and the Beast card. We have here coming out in the purple and into the light. But as of right now, this is normally like my love card, it's like my Beauty and the Beast, right? And this is like going out of darkness and into the light. But if you look here, Arizona fell right on this, right? Arizona, but it's reversed. Which tells me Arizona used to be with the purple state. However, it's starting to go below and below as time goes on. So you can take a little look at this as well. These are cards that I made myself. So if you are interested in this, just let me know, and I'll keep using these cards for other like questions as well. Is your health from COVID? Yeah, I don't know. Honestly, I don't know if the health is specifically from COVID specifically. Thank you, guys. I'm glad you like the cards. It's okay. Don't worry about it. I'll be fine. All right. So the next question that we have here today is more than 120 Republican former officials discussed the possibility of organizing a center-right party to compete with the extreme Republican Party. What did they decide? I mean, like, did they decide to form this center-right party? Well, we have Trump here who is on. So all right. I think we have sufficient information. We have a challenge here. We have two cards. Okay. It's the sun. What is this card? We have these two cards. We almost had the same cards from last time. So it's talking about what may end up happening, right? And so we're talking about 2022 and the midterm election. We have here's Trump. But it's no longer a matter of time. Now, you guys can't see this, so I'm just going to kind of show you. Here it is. It's like a clock, right? But it's reversed, which tells me that TikTok is out of time. The GOP is out of time. They already made an official decision that the GOP is now a part of the Republican Party, and Trumpism is a part of that as well. We have here again, they're no longer the moderate party. They're not going into the light, and they're going to be exposed for the corruption that they did and all the dealings and the unions they made with other people. We have here underneath time is it's a matter of time if they lose. The question is, it feels like as if Trump's time within the Republican Party and the GOP is not over. It is just as Trump said, it's beginning. What's told me here is that the Trump wing of the party is going to remain the Trump wing. So Trump is here to stay, basically. It could be a different type of Trump, but Laura Trump, who announced that she might be running for the midterms as well. It does feel like the Trump wing of that particular Trump heritage, basically, is going to be a matter of time and a deciding factor. Does this person get in and do they get elected? If they don't, it'll be the end of the Trumpism. But if it doesn't, if they do win, then it's the beginning of the end for the GOP. And we have here, they'll be stopped. So they might be trying to stop a blue wave, which is probably what they're doing because, again, we have here the midterm. The midterm is crossover, which tells me that they don't want moderate Joe Biden with the election. And this is kind of like, I'm getting like Kamala Harris vibes since she wore this jacket color. Like they don't want them to take credit for the coronavirus, so they're going to do whatever it is in their power to sabotage it and then blame it on Joe Biden so they have something to run on. Right now, the GOP overall is unbalanced, it's unstable. However, the support is going to go up, so they will gain seats. They are going to gain seats in the midterm, and they're not going to back down. So they will take the House, but it will be almost by gerrymander. They will not win the popular vote in the midterm. However, they will take the House though. So it's all about gerrymandering, and this will be a big case. It does feel like it will end up going to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court will have to decide if gerrymandering is constitutional or not. So it does feel like that the Republicans will take back the House in the 2022 midterms. As it stands today, then very well can change 2 years out from now. All right, so what will happen to the senators that voted for a conviction? So let's look at the future of an overall GOP senators and see, because they voted to acquit and convict him, let's look at particularly will they be primaried and stuff like that, because it's pretty significant to say the least how this will all go down. Because right now I think a lot of the Republicans got centered by their own Republican Party in the state. You're welcome. I love you guys. All right, so Spears and Angels, tell me about this. What is the future of the GOP in terms of the Republicans that voted to convict? So we have quite a lot here as well. We have time again. This card keeps showing up. So it feels like the clock is out. Like the time has ended. Whatever that may particularly mean. It feels like as if, because I'm doing this sideways, it feels like we won't have sufficient money to continue the stimulus check because there's going to be information revealed potentially about the national debt that we're unaware of as of right now, and it feels like it may hinder the progress in the future in terms of COVID-19 and everything that's happening. And we do have here, I'm not sure if this was upright, so I'm going to read it both ways. The stock market and the economy is going to skyrocket. It's going to skyrocket. So we are going to do pretty well in terms of the economy recovering. But if this was reversed, was telling me that we're entering into a depression and it's getting worse. So it can go either way. I'm not sure what way the cards were standing, so I just wanted to give you both reading. We do have here as well, it feels like the Democrats are going to be campaigning on free education, free college education when it comes to the midterms as well. It does feel like as if when it comes to these Republicans, it feels like they're going to be blamed for not helping the Democrats out with the COVID-19 pandemic and the relief. So they will be criticized for this. Depending, they will either be helping the economy or hurting, and it'll be a matter of time. So I feel like they will be primaried. But however, the door's not closed on them, and they will end up taking it. They're not going to be plunging into the past, so I will be surprised if these Republicans come out as the front runners to win their seats. So if anything, it looks like they will be primary in the Republican caucus in their own states. However, they will come out of it and they'll be fine. So it does look like there's some good stuff happening for those senators who did come back. Now let's take a look at those senators who voted to acquit and how they're going to do in the future, at least in terms of the media. So let's take a look. This is like an overall view, like a bird eye view. It can change for particular candidates depending on who they are. All right. All right, Spears and Angel, tell me, what about the future of the senators that voted to acquit Donald Trump in the recent impeachment trial? What is their likely future? Okay. What is their likely future? What do we need to know? All right, we have a lot of cards here. I'm not going to take these because this fell out of my hand. All right, so we have here for these. We have here, they're not going to have a storm because they're unbalanced. So their constituents, these people who are voting for the people who acquitted, are going to keep voting for these people. They're not mentally there or mentally thinking for themselves and what's best for the country. So they're not going to have a problem in terms of being able to win. However, there will be a problem because they're going to be challenged by Kamala and Biden and Harris. So it does feel like they will be challenged by the Biden and Kamala Harris presidency, potentially may be ousted because of some political scandal that comes out about the Republican senators who voted to acquit. We have here a disaster coming, and it has nothing to do with the virus. It's their involvement in spreading the virus and not containing it. We have here as well as we have the masculine and feminine reverse, which tell me they're not very balanced on either side. We have here they're not going to back down. So these Republicans who voted to acquit former president will not back down. Again, like I said, they're not balanced. They're not mentally there. They're not mentally stable. They're not very good people. They don't represent their constituents or what the people who voted for them in. So they do not like to represent those people. And part of it is because at the core, they're confused. They don't know what to do and what's right from wrong. So it does feel like these senators who voted to acquit don't know what's better for the country or what their constituents really want. They just voted based on their political future, and that's really it. They will win, but they're going to struggle quite a bit. All right, so let's look at the next question. What we have here, what is the message that Trump said MAGA movement has just begun after being acquitted for a second time? So there was a message encoded in there, so let's just take a quick look and see what that is. Okay, so it looks like exactly what it is. It's exactly the coded message, specifically what it is. So we have here the Queen of Cups, which is basically like Kamala Harris, the Democratic Party, specifically like Nancy Pelosi. She's the cap. She represents the old establishment of the Democratic Party. What we have here as well is we have unpredictability with the national debt. So there's unpredictability with the national debt, right? So he's somewhat involved in some form or fashion in that particular way. We have here, this is basically him not physically verbally saying this, but almost like telling his own constituents that he is running and that he's on the ballot for the 2024 general election. So it looks like he files his thing that he's gonna run again in 2024. What we have here is a tower moment reverse and a general election. So he's not over saying he lost. He's not gonna concede. Basically, he's not going to admit defeat in the 2020 election. Instead, he's just going to say, welcome to the primaries. You're going to help me get in, and we need to be a bigger collective. So he's trying to get more people that he wants to create this. However, he doesn't have a lot of opportunities to physically put this message out there, partly because he is banned from social media. So how he gets the message out there, he needs to be creative and unique in order to announce this. However, if Trump physically and verbally announced it, Biden will be running again. Biden will run again for a second term, and that it will be even closer than it was in 2020. So just be a little mindful of that. It looks like it's going to be a lot tighter, and that Trump has no intention of letting another Republican nominee take over. So Trump makes a comeback in 2024. Well, it looks like, let's see, because that's the perfect way to start the next set of questions. I just did these randomly and just put them in, and it feels like it just blends in perfectly. Spirit Singers will tell me about this. Will the former president make a comeback in 2024? What we have here as well is we have the Biden-Harris administration, and they're the new incumbents, right? So the incumbency will have a big effect on everything that's happening and everything that's going on. So it does look like Biden and Harris will have a pretty high approval rating, specifically higher than Donald Trump, and so they will be pretty approved or highly approved by most Americans. At least 2/3 of Americans, so like around 60%. We have here as well at the center, we have a spiritual awakening. A lot of people are starting to be more mindful and understanding what political is all about, politics is all about. It feels like a lot of people will be voting and investing more time in this. However, we see in the past that Donald Trump had won in 2016. He was declared the winner. However, he struggled quite a bit in 2020. So this is 2016, 2020, and this is in the past. In the future, he's going to have a primary challenge, and it's going to be a woman. I feel like this might be Nikki Haley. Potentially, it could be Liz Cheney from Wyoming as well. So it looks like there could be, and he could be very restricted, which tells me that he may struggle in the primaries. He may struggle a little bit. He may or may not win the primaries, and he certainly is not going to win the general election. Yeah, because the Republican Party is now undergoing a brand new ideology change, and the party in the future and the path that they want to partake in. So it does feel like they're going to have to go through a spiritual change as well. It does feel like Donald Trump will be trying to figure out what that is, but it does feel like he will make a comeback, but it won't be pretty good for him. It'll be pretty toxic. All right, so let's look. It's the breakaway in the Tea Party under Obama. So a lot of you guys who have been here for quite a while, you may have remembered I mentioned the Tea Party quite a bit. The Tea Party was a party within the Republican Party that was very, what's it called? Very radical for his time under Obama, and that they tried to stop Obama from doing whatever it is, any sort of legislation to pass anything. It's called the Tea Party. And I want to know, well, they form some not a break-in with this. Just the Tea Party over. Because there's the establishment and then the Trumpism wing. So we have here the Republican Party is going to struggle. There's a fight for the power of the party. The fight for their own constituents as well. We have here, Spears, what else can we know about the Tea Party? Will it have a major effect going forward? What do we need to know about this? What do we need to know? Again, we have Biden and Kamala. Biden is the one who's in control of the economy. Kamala feels like she's more in control of the virus. So it feels like because Biden and Kamala will be working together coalescingly to try to stop it, they're going to have a high approval rating. And it's going to cause a divide within the Republican Party. However, it looks like there may be another thing coming that we're not aware of, almost like some sort of conviction where they stop a Republican candidate in its tracks. Like there's something there, and it looks like someone else announces a presidential run. It could be maybe Trump announcing that he's running, but then someone else says, I'm running against you, we're going to primary challenge you, and that's where the issue starts to become a part of that. So it does feel like there will be a breakage, an ideology change within the GOP. Let's take a look at that as well. Let's take a look at, will there be any third-party hurdles, and would it make it possible for it to form. So let's take a look at that. Interesting. So we have here in the past is that the popular vote winner, a lot of you guys know this is my popular vote winner, but the person who loses the electoral college is never victorious, right? This is in the past. It's electoral college system here. What we have here is there's a change that the United States is undergoing in this decade. We have here as well as there's going to be a stop. There's going to be a change. Something's going to be revealed, or something's gonna be put into legislation that's gonna reveal something, and it's gonna be an issue with it. There is gonna be within the 2020 decade, we will witness two women targeting each other, going at each other. Right? We have here as well as we have the Democratic Party who's gonna nominate a woman for the presidential ticket. And then for the Republicans, they're going to nominate a woman for their presidential ticket. So it could be the clash of Kamala Harris and Nikki Haley as they were speaking, like some people recommended. And it's the end of the patriarchy. It's the end of the system and the American system as it used to be. And it's now a beginning of the new renaissance, the new American renaissance, so to speak. So there is something undergoing here. And it feels like, if anything, there's a change to Electoral College Party. And so I think that's the main takeaway that my guys want me to tell you, particularly for the question. I don't think kids will ever have the same or enough stuff to get anywhere in politics. At least I pray. Yeah, unless, names do have polls, so you never know, right? So now the next question that we want to ask is, oops, sorry. Would the establishment Republican Party break away from the GOP? So let's take a look at that. Would the establishment Republican Party break away from the GOP? Okay. Let's see. Yeah, Biden coming in. He's elected. Went the popular vote. He struggled a bit in the electoral college, at least not in the popular vote. He's going to have the strength. He's going to have the popularity. So this is the issue for the GOP in terms of the establishment, is how can they overcome Biden's high popularity in the country. We have here Biden was victorious in 2020. We have here, it looks like there's a resignation. So Biden may potentially leave or may step down. This could also be something with Donald Trump. Donald Trump passes away, and it's a good thing for the general election, or something very bad. It means it could hurt the Republican Party in some sort of fashion. It could be two very different things. It could be that Biden wins in 2020, but Kamala Harris goes in because Biden steps down and she takes over, and then she wins the next election, and it won't be even close. It won't be close. Yeah, and then we have here the strength of the women party. So it could be talking about 2024. It could be 2028 even. And it's talking about two women parties coming together, trying to attack each other. And it's going to be a Democrat who wins. So it probably end up being Kamala Harris than anything else. So that's pretty cool, right? So I guess that's the overall challenge for that particular question. Doesn't mean my guys give me the likeliest outcome or answers around that situation. So that's the problem. The issue is what do they do? And it looks like, if anything, they might nominate a Republican woman to challenge a woman, because people have been wanting a woman as president for the longest time. And so the Republicans are like, well, we're going to want to get a woman, because if the Democrats had their first African American, why can't we get something? So it's more of like a political tool than actually letting people break the barriers. You know what I mean? So what is the likely chance of a new political party forming out of this GOP? So let's take a look at that. What is the likely chance of a new political party forming? Okay. We have 8 reversed. So what I'm going to do is, until I get 2 numbers that are upright, who are in red, okay? 9. 93% chance of a new party. Sorry. A 93% chance of a new party forming out of the GOP. So the 93% chance. It could happen this decade, could happen sometime later in the decade. We'll have to see as time goes on, right? So will the Patriot Party become a thing in politics in the next few years? So let's take a look. Now, Trump has been championing, starting a brand new third party. So let's take a look and see, will they have any big poll effect? He has not endorsed the party in any form or fashion, but it doesn't hurt to look and take a kind of a deep look into that. So they're not going to have link to the American ideology. They're not going to represent America and what it is. Okay, so this is kind of giving me an overview and everything that happened since the insurrection. What we have here as well, they will have no ties to Trump. So Trump may not endorse the actual party at first. However, it's considered a Patriot Party, so it's going to represent everything the Patriot Party and the Constitution, even though its values aren't really there. We have here as well, there's going to be a new front runner. It could be Donald Trump Jr. as the front runner. It could be Eric Trump, something like that. However, they're going to love the justice system. So they're going to be a big champion of the justice system. So don't be surprised if that's one of the campaign things that they're running on. Their goal is not to win by a landslide, but just win by the narrowest of margins. We have here as well, we have, it's not going to be a coalition of men and women. It's just going to be kind of like, they're not even going to win the polarity. They're not going to win by 50% of either gender. They're going to win by the slimmest margins of both. We have here, they're not going to have the support or the money going forward. They don't have the recognition. We have here, again, Trump is not going to be the front runner. Because it's not the front runner, the Patriot Party is going to fail. However, they will put two men in there because they did get enough donations from Trump and everything. They will put 2 male up front come next January. So within the midterm, don't be surprised if they're either putting someone forth in the midterms or in, of course, the general election. And we have here, it's not going to be a disaster. They're not really going to succeed or cause any sort of upset. It's just kind of thing that we're looking into the future. It's the thing of the future. It really hangs on the way the media handled this. If the media is going to get a hold of misinformation, will determine kind of like the future of and the path of the Patriot Party. I spy Third Eye, not real Sarah Palin, a new lady, right? I don't think it's going to be Sarah Palin. I kind of got like Nikki Haley or something like that. But personally, I think they should go with someone who represents the ideals of the original Republican Party. Like, I think personally, if they really want to put someone really good, they can just try Liz Cheney or Cindy McCain, something like that. They will be good people who represent the Republican Party. Will Trump endorse the Patriot Party in the end? So if he does, the challenge is his handling of the COVID-19 pandemic. So you will have a very big challenge. It really determines how Biden handles it compared to the way Trump does it. And if Biden has a high approval rating among it, he may not have a fighting chance. And so right now it can go either way. He could either be maintaining as the front runner of a GOP, or he could start a third party. We have here, it's a stop. No one's going to be able to stop him. So he's going to have all the power and do whatever he wants. And it's going to be a dark time for the GOP. It's going to be very dark. It's not going to be a good time. I don't necessarily see a yes or no. It's just telling me it's almost like a maybe. Again, we have here, if a woman's on the front runner ticket, he's going to run. He's going to run at the GOP. Or you're going to try to, but again, we have 2 women here as well. 2 women, so it could be like they kick him out, they have 2 women running against each other, and then he just like, you know what, I'm going to go in at the third party. So you can very well see a third party race, a three-party race as well. So it should be interesting to say the least for 2024 and see what's the likeliest outcome then. Now, for this last question that we're going to be asking is, will Trump run again as a GOP frontrunner or as the Patriot Party's presidential candidate? So let's take a look. Okay. Spirits and Angels Tommy, please give me 3 cards. Will Trump run again as the GOP frontrunner? The GOP frontrunner. Okay. All right. What about the frontrunner for Patriot Party? What do we need to know? Will he run as the frontrunner at the Patriot Party as like the presidential nominee? We have this. Again, we have here as well, we have, it looks, if anything, if he was to run again, he'll run on the GOP. He won't run the Patriot Party. So it does feel as if anything, he's gonna win the primary by a slim margin for the GOP. He's not gonna have as much of a pull as he used to have on these senators and these people. So he won't have that political recognition. He won't really like be well liked among the GOP. However, he will get enough of the plurality. All you need is a plurality of the votes in each state, and he's going to get enough delegates to win the primary. So he will be a presidential frontrunner for the GOP if he goes for it. However, in terms of the Patriot Party we have here, they're not even going to offer it to him. They didn't say anything. He's not going to win. He's not going to win the primaries for the Patriot Party. And he's just going to end up dropping out of the race. So that could be something that we could be watching as well. It's really permanent judgment and his handling of the insurrection, the COVID-19 pandemic, and other stuff as well. I do see there is a lot of things that could possibly happen in a potential future. And so I do hope you guys like this video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon for more content such as this. Thank you, moderators, and everyone who have wished me love, light, and energy. I really appreciate it. I love each and every single one of you. And I hope you have a very beautiful night. Do not forget on Sunday, I will be going live with a guest of mine who's actually a client and a subscriber of the channel. And we'll be talking about love and kind of like almost like it's going to be a very beautiful video. It's a celestial talk show. So definitely be there. It's going to be very, very nice. It's going to be short, 30-minute segment at most. And we're just gonna kind of be talking about like what we don't like about ourselves. And then we're gonna kind of purge it by saying what we really like about ourselves and kind of realize that we are not flawed. We're just flawed because we want to believe that we're flawed. And so definitely come join us. It's a great way to purge a lot of negative energy out of you and start filling yourself up with love. You can partake in this either in the comment section or of course the live chat during that live. So I do hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I love you all and have a very beautiful night. Bye, guys.